Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gareth Major and this is a review of USS Boise, the Tier 6 Premium USA Light Cruiser. She's currently available in store, and also there's a chance of getting her in the USN crates and the big USN crates. Now this is a game of domination on Haven, Tier 5 and 6 game. On the other team we have Agile, Akatsuki, Dallas, a York working with a Gneisenhower, a Matus, a Bayern, a Queen Elizabeth and a New Mexico. So a very battleship heavy game. Now USS Boise is a Brooklyn class cruiser. She was the sixth one to be launched, so she was part of the early run of the Brooklyn class cruisers, and she was built in Newport, USA. For those of you who are stateside, there's the opportunity to go see the ship's bow, which is on display at the Military History Museum in Idaho, pardon me. Now everything I'm going to say stat wise is going to be in comparison to the tier 6 tech tree cruisers. It's just always easier that way, and of course it's fully upgraded versus fully upgraded. And we're also going to take a little bit of consideration in regards to the USS Helena, because also Helena is also a Brooklyn class cruiser. For those of you who want to know a little bit more history, carded top right now will be Draken Fennell's 5-minute guide to the Brooklyn class cruisers. Now USS Boise, survivability is again below average. That's her base HP, I should say, really. It's the same as the Helena. Now for a 6-inch cruiser you do have the highest base HP. So when you're comparing against the lighter 6-inch cruisers at tier 6, you are reasonable, I guess you could say. Now she comes with repair parties, which is different to the Helena, and if you take these repair parties into consideration, you do have the highest HP pool, which is basically the amount of HP you would have after using all of your repair parties for the tier. She's got more than the Fiji. Artillery wise, you have small caliber guns, but then 6 inches is considered small caliber for this tier. You have 5 triple gun turrets. You have A turret forward, B turret superfiring over A turret, Q turret facing rearward behind B turret, and then you've got X turret superfiring over Y turret at the rear. So you do have 3 rearward facing guns, which means that you are in a slight advantage when having to sail away from things. You also have quite floaty shells, quite sluggish shells, I guess you could say. So that also means that they have a lot of airtime. However, they do have a very high arc, so therefore this ship is perfect for these kind of situations where you can sit behind an island and shoot enemy ships. What the hell is the rest of my team doing? Oh jeez. Now for a 6-inch gun, it has the slowest reload. It's half a second longer than the Helena, but you do have fast turret reverse, so you are faster than the Helena as well there. You have short range for the guns, however you do have slightly more range than the Helena. It's only about 400 meters more though. For your high explosives and armor piercing, the shell damage is a bit less than the Helena for some reason. However, you still have an above average DPM and above average fires per minute chance. Torpedo wise, it's very easy. There are no torpedoes, so there's nothing really to get excited about here. I'm wondering what's got me detected. It's got to be a destroyer. What's the other destroyer? Akatsuki. There. Okay. Also Queen Elizabeth. So I'm a little bit isolated in this flank. I probably need to really consider breaking off. So, but with the Akatsuki hiding, that's not going to be good for me. So the Dallas has got me detected, hasn't he? Well, we're going to have to play with this then. Might just see if I can get any support from someone else. Now, maneuverability, you are the slowest for the tier. Your top speed is only 30 knots, which is 2.5 knots less than most other ships, so that's something to bear in mind if you have to, in this kind of situation, kite away from something. Now you have an above average turn. Oh, no. You have an average turning circle, but you have a slow rudder shift. So improving that rudder shift may be something that you want to consider when it comes to it. Concealment is better than average, but it's nothing special. It's exactly the same as the Helena. However, one thing to note is that you do come with a Type 9 permanent camouflage, which is exactly the same as a Type 4, so that does give you minus 4.5% detectability range and plus 4.5% incoming fire dispersion. I'm going up to the edge of the map, which is not good. Time to use one of those repair parties though. Now, going on to the consumables, you have two sonar. This is exactly the same as the Helena, so it is that slightly odd, slightly different sonar. So it can pick up ships at 4 kilometers range rather than the usual 4.2, and it can pick up torpedoes at 3 kilometers range rather than the usual 2.9. It's also got a slightly longer duration, so it's the same as the Helena. It's got 100-second duration rather than the usual 94 seconds. But it still has the 180-second reload. Now you don't get any catapult fighters, however I think the trick up your sleeve, or the ace up your sleeve I guess you could say, is going to be those repair parties. Each repair party heals the devil's number, 666 HP per second for 20 seconds, which means that a single repair party will heal 13,320 HP, which means from the base number of 2 repair parties you can get 26,640 HP back, and then from say a fully packed commander where you have 3 repair parties, which is what I've got here, then you can have a total of 39,960 HP in addition to your base HP. So almost in repair parties you could have more HP than your ship actually comes with base. If my team can actually move back and isolate the enemy at Delta, then I might have an opportunity to almost break off and rejoin them. Now, the modules I've gone for is aiming systems, because your other alternatives is to improve your turret traverse speed at the cost of rate of fire, but your turret traverse speed is good and your rate of fire is bad, so I don't want to make something worse and something good better. The other one is you could go for a secondary mod, which would improve the range and accuracy of your secondaries, but she's not really a secondary build cruiser, let's be honest. Now for modules 2 and 3, there's quite a couple of options and all of them could be justified, that's fair enough. However, I go on propulsion mods because I like the ability to slow down quickly in order to get in position behind an island sometimes. And then I've also gone for steering gears for the third module, because the third module of steering gears gives a minus 40% to your rudder shift. Now there could be cases to say go double steering gears, or for go for say like steering gears minus 20% module 2, and then go for concealment modules. So there's quite a lot of different ways you could cut that one really. So most of my team have seemed to have made a big ball of doom just towards the south of Bravo, and don't really seem to be keen on pushing the enemy in any direction, which unfortunately means that they made a very easy torpedo target for the Akatsuki. Now unfortunately I'm isolated over here in the corner. I've got the Bion off to my right, but if I open fire I've got nowhere to go. I know I've got the Dallas and the Queen Elizabeth behind me somewhere. I know I've got the Akatsuki off to my right somewhere. Although I suspect maybe the Akatsuki has actually made a push into Bravo. Now the Bion's distracted, so I'm going to chance my arm and see what I can do here, see if I can get a fire or two. But straight away I'm being targeted by a ship. The Akatsuki's now been spotted in Bravo. I suspect I'm being targeted by the Queen Elizabeth from behind, so I am just going to keep a little bit of evasive manoeuvres ongoing with my rudder. Now I have managed to get one fire on the Bion. I'm looking for a second. I'm just keeping a little bit of evasive manoeuvres because I'm still targeted by something. Hopefully that's the Bion gone. Nice. So So now I feel a little bit more confident. Now I know I haven't got ships between me and the rest of the team. I can actually now turn up and try and capture Delta. Ooh, but we just lost 2 ships there. I'm not really surprised. Our team didn't quite push the objective. I mean, they all balled up and didn't quite push. Considering they had a ship advantage, because I was up against 4 ships earlier. Oh well, it is what it is, unfortunately, sometimes. So I'm just moving up, see if I can capture Delta with our destroyer. I know that the Queen Elizabeth had me in gun range, so that's something to bear in mind. It could have been the Dallas, but I would have expected the Dallas to shoot, is the best way to put it. Now, their team should probably just fall back. There's no real reason. Queen Elizabeth, ideally I would love to start shooting you, but I'm in open water and this is very risky. But I do have places to go, so it is an opportunity. And I am at maximum range, which means I should have a reasonable time to react to the incoming shots. Dallas has obviously moved away, so now I know I've got almost like a 1v1, which is quite good. Those are the kind of odds you want to be going for, because then you can reduce the amount of shots coming in, or the amount of enemy DPM coming in. Now that looks like quite a good cluster, so it definitely looks to be a commander who knows what he's doing. I'm going to go for a slightly wider stance to see if I can lead him up the garden path and make him think that I'm... Basically, by going for a wider stance, there's less chance that his volley will actually land where I'm at, because I've got a slightly bit more time to react. So I'm going to knock the throttle and turn. That Elizabeth knows exactly what he's doing, which is obviously a little bit concerning. He knows where to aim in order to cut the cruiser off, which is turning out. So I'm going to be a bit brave, and I'm thinking this time I won't turn. It's one of those where you're kind of counting the RNGs that's working in your favour. Now he's obviously switched targets because I'm not getting the being targeted from my ingenious ability, which does mean that we should be able to just keep piling on the pressure on this Queen Elizabeth, who's slowly burning up. Oh, unfortunately they pipped us at points because they managed to kill that battleship, which meant they managed to just get over the lead. However, 75,000 damage and 209 hits on target. Considering I got isolated against 5 ships at the start, I think they managed to make something out of nothing, I guess you could say. Managed to do some decent position at the start, but things deteriorated as I got pushed from multiple flanks, and so I had to fall back into open water, but managed to play a little bit of open water. But you can see some of the downsides of these light cruisers in open water. Their slow rudder can be a bit of a hindrance when it comes to dodging shots, and also with the Boise, being that she's a bit slower, she's slow and got a slow rudder, so it means that when it comes to changing direction, it's not too good, is the best way to put it. Came third on the team. Our best player was a Fubuki and KG5. Don't think I saw them. They must have been all, well, the whole team was on the other flank. I don't understand the great big ball of doom, because it means that you could see how that was a disadvantage for the team because they made a big ball of doom. They basically were getting shot at from multiple angles rather than saying secure the left flank and the right flank and put up a bit of resistance on both. They just focused in one area, which meant that because they got into a ball, they couldn't go anywhere. It's one of the downsides of that tactic. However, still made a pretty penny. The buy-in for this game was only 78,000, so that's not too bad. It's a bit less than the usual 110,000. I don't know whether the ship buy-in cost for a premium ship is slightly less, but it seems to be coming across that way, is the best way to put it. Well, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, and if you are already subscribed, then thank you very much, guys. If you have any of your own gameplays that you'd like to submit for commentary, our email address is down in the description, along with the commander build and the ship modules used in this game. I've been the Gareth Major, and back to the port.